Hi and welcome to another episode of Jane of All Trades. Today we are going to be working in Photoshop CC 2020 from Adobe, like you've never heard of it. And we are going to be working with a portrait of yours truly, of course, because that's how I work. So we're going to go into Photoshop and we're going to take a portrait of me with no makeup on, so looking very similar to how I look now, not that great. But real, keeping it real. And we're just going to add elements of makeup to enhance the photo and to smooth it out, just so that it looks like you were wearing makeup when it was actually taken. There's two kind of bonuses to this method. The first bonus is you can have a different makeup set on the exact same portrait. So if you're doing something where you needed a portrait where you looked super duper natural, that's where your makeups would be all browns and your natural lip colour, etc, etc. Not too heavy on the darkening of the skin, or you could even be paler. And on the flip side of the coin, when you're not at work and do a little bit on the side, you might be a bit goth, and therefore you could go really dark on the eyes or dark on the lips, and there's super quick ways of doing that. So that's what we're going to go through today. So how to add makeup to a photo where you're not wearing any makeup. Let's jump right in. So here we are in Photoshop, and this is the photo of yours truly. This is it in its natural state. So we have layers over here, which I have started to name. So this is where I'm just going to show you what we're going to do. So in its natural state, I say natural, I've already been through Camera Raw, and I did a little bit of face tuning. I already have a tutorial on that, which is why I've already done it for you, because we're not going to go over the same thing over and over again. So what we're going to do is, for layer 1, we're just going to add a bit of darkening to skin. See how that automatically changed it and just gave me a subtle glow and made me less peely-wally, because all Scottish people are peely-wally. So what we're going to do is we're just going to rename that, and we're going to rename it Skin so that we know it's skin. Right, we're already on the layer selected, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish it off. Opacity is at 22%, and it's actually on multiply, it's not on normal. So if I bring the opacity up, yeah, I know. So now we're David Dickinson. If you don't know who that is, it doesn't matter, right? So we're going to select that particular tone, and then we're going to go to brush, and we're going to make sure we're on a diffused brush. We need it to actually be on the big side, because we're going to do that huge area, and we're just going to, this was how I did the face, so you just go in and select, and I'm just using a mouse for this. If you have a pen, you can obviously use that. I do have a pen. I'm just not using it in this tutorial because I'm keeping it simple. And I'm not a dab hand with the pen yet. I'm still learning, so that's another thing that we can move on with. Right, so get that all nice and David Dickinson, and then what we want to do is we're going to go in, because we don't want to have peely-wally neck. So let's just take our little brush down, and then we're just going to scoot. The hair is nice and dark, so it won't affect that too much. If you're a blonde or very light haired or colour hair, it may have a different impact, so you might want to think about how that's going to work. Looking a bit kind of so there we are, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this back down to 22%. Here we go, and we're going to see the difference in skin. No tone, tone, no tone, tone. So instantly we've made a huge difference. So the next layer that we have is eyeshadow, so it makes sense to zoom into the eye so you'll be able to see the difference. Ta-da! Not that huge difference. I didn't really use a kind of natural tone for this, but you could. So if you wanted to create, so let's just create a new layer, and then we'll call it a second eyeshadow. There we go. So we've got that, and now we're just, because I kind of go for natural, I always personally go for natural, so what I do is I try to colour pick colours from the actual image, so I'm kind of looking for something a bit darker. That's quite nice, I quite like that. So we'll take the brush size down and we'll make it a soft round. And there we go, in, and we'll just take that over. Maybe the brush size is a bit too big. We'll see how it is. I've got very peculiar brows. So we're just going to take that in. And then I would also like to go a bit lighter. But I'm going to do that manually just to get a nicer colour as opposed to colour picking. I'm just going to take this down a smidge more. Actually, what you'd normally do is you'd normally have the dark on the inside and the light on the outside, so I think we could use other tools on this, such as blur, that kind of thing. You just kind of soften it off. Is that it? That's not blur, that is something else. What is this? Sponge. I don't even remember. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So we're just going to go for this just now. Because we can also change it in other areas. So the other eye is slightly different though. Because now we have to take into account that little bit of shadow. So we're just going to colour pick the internal colour again. And then nip back to the brush. And then we're just gonna, I'm gonna make the brush size just a teeny bit smaller and do the same for the eyelashes, and then colour pick the lighter colour that's round. I'm kind of doing this back to front. You should really do the other colour first, because that's how you would that's how I would normally do it on the eye, but I'm not particularly good at this. So that all looks a bit haphazard and a bit weird. So what I'm thinking is maybe we can select and then we can just do like a Gaussian blur and blend it. So we didn't really have to do the blending because we is slightly lazy. So there's a wee bit of kind of Gaussian blur, and then it's Control D to deselect. And then we'll get our opacity down. And there we are, there's kind of like a little spot of makeup. And again, you can choose how kind of thick you want it to be. I'm going to keep it quite light. So I've given myself, like, we could blend this a wee bit more, probably we could go back in. And you can do your opacity first and then go and kind of work on that. So that's just a wee bit of eyeshadow. So layer 3 is eye surround. See how I've done, it's kind of, I wouldn't say mascara, but more of a kind of eyeliner look. So that's layer 3. So let's name that eyeliner. So you can see the difference. Doot, 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 doot. And the opacity is 25%, and I've actually used overlay for this. So let's bring it back up to how it looked, and that looks awful. So what I did here was I did just go around with black on a brush, and it's all you have to do eyeliner, just go around with black on a brush. And you've got the same options, so you can highlight everything on that layer, and then go and you can have a wee bit of a kind of blur. See what happens? What happened there? Absolutely nothing. So you can soften it if you don't want it to. See, there you go. Like if you don't want it too harsh, you can just bring it down a wee bit, and then we'll just say okay, and that's it. Just a wee bit. See, it's softer edged around the top. And if we do Control D, like if you were quite, I mean that's quite a heavy eye now. So if you were doing much darker makeup and you weren't going for the natural look, that would probably work. I think the red really really changes things. So that's on overlay, just using a black brush, just swish round the eye, and then you're using effects and things. So I don't want it to be that strong, so I'm going to bring it down. I'm not going to take it down as far because I kind of want to keep that colour that we've got in the eye now, and we're just going to keep that. So now we've done skin, we've done a little bit of eyeshadow, we've done a little bit of eyeliner, and now we're on layer 4, which is lips. Now for lips, I have used multiply and the opacity is at 48%. So lips is an easier one. So when I originally did the lips, I just colour picked. I colour picked my natural lip colour, but in a darker area. So all I did was brush round my lips, but with a kind of a natural colour from my lips. And the great thing about this is it gives you such a huge versatility. So, and I'll show you that just by using, so if I put this to normal, you'll see, there we go. So that's the colour I use. So it's quite, again, I mean, look at how natural the image is remaining. Oh, it's not working. Why not? Here we go. So, good. Right. Helps if I have it on the right side. So we can see the good old tash there again, but we know that, but you can see that I've just gone round. So what I've done is I've actually picked, I think I picked out this, I'm saying the darkest, but maybe I picked out the lightest because I wanted kind of more natural lip, and that's a matte look lip, but it still looks quite normal and natural, and I've taken it down to 50% so that we can see the detail. Obviously the stronger you go, the more back to the brush you go, and then if you go further and further to the other direction, you're getting more and more. So we're just going to leave that at 50%, and now I'm going to show you how changing from normal to multiply to dissolve to diffuse will now change the whole look of the image. So here we go. So that's dissolve, that's darken, that's not really good. Multiply, I've now instantly got dark, matte, strong lips. So multiply, there's colour burn for bright red, linear burn, we're starting to get into a goth look again, it looks almost two-tone, darker burn, lighter, lighten, screen if you're wanting a pink sheen lip, you got colour dodge if you're wanting to really bring out your makeup, linear, lighten, there's overlay, soft light, hard light, vivid light if you're wanting to go strong, and we have linear light, also strong, pin light, hard mix, difference if you want to go super goth. Again, I've not changed any colour, I'm just going through the motions. Exclusion is actually quite an unusual colour. Subtract, dark again, divide for total pink, hue, saturation, colour, and luminosity. And there you go. And that's all your colours. I think I had it on multiply. But we can go like pure, we can just change that to goth just for the fun of it. There we go. So that is me now. So that's lips. So that was a wee bit of fun doing lips. And I don't know what this is. This is a layer where we haven't done anything. So all in all, it's actually pretty simple to get some makeup on you in these. You can also do, like, if I would, let's arm layer 5, because one of the things about this photo, and one of the things I have is under eye baggage. So we can go in and we can have a wee play about with just having a wee fix. Now we've used eyeshadow to come in here, so you can use eyeshadow around there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a wee colour pick. I would say that that was quite close to the natural colour. And we're just going to keep the line, like you can see that there is a bit of a line of darkness, so I'm just going to have a wee swish, swish, swish over the good old eye bags, but not too much. And you can do the same on the other side. Have a wee colour pick, and then just, but not too much. And what we'll do is we'll just leave a wee bit next to the nose. Actually, we'll take it away. We'll take it away. I just didn't want to go over the nose too much. And the principle is the same. So let's get the area selected, go into filter, we'll get a wee bit of blur going on. You want it really blurry because you want it really blended. Well, I do. And then we're going to bring down that opacity so that we can start to see a bit of skin through it again. And again, you can go through all these things and you can go, okay, that doesn't work. That's just now I look like a bit like, so if you want to look like you've been punched in the eye, I think that's a good one to go for. Some of these might work better than others. Lighting is maybe not too bad. Screen is too white. There's overlay, but you can still kind of see everything. So if I was going to go for anything, I would say I would go for lighting. And then again, you can start playing about with how much or how little you want on top of your eye bags. We don't want to interfere too much because I see that the lashes are going to get interfered with. But yeah, I would say that eye bags, yeah, that's pretty close. So there we go, there we have it. I have added the makeup. So let's get rid of this because it was the old one. And now you can just have a wee look at it, how it looked before, because I'm just going to take all these out. So that's me before, Peely Wally me before with no slap, and then boof, tan, eyeliner, lips, bag removal, and a spot of eyeshadow, which we can blend. You can blend it further up, or you can use different colours. So that is how I do that. Have a play about, like there's so many features and so many effects that will give you different kind of effects. You know, I'm not the kind of person that likes to overdo it, so this kind of suits me, and as you can see, it was a really quick process. It's probably quicker and neater and more effective than putting makeup on your actual face. So if you were taking a portrait of yourself, you might just want to do a base, like a base foundation, or any kind of little tweaks. You know, you may want to kind of go into it without eye bags. You may want to use makeup to cover up blemishes and things like that before you even go in. It's not something I worried about. I've actually removed all my blemishes as well using the patch tool, which again is in my previous tutorial for how to facetune yourself in Photoshop. So that's essentially part one that you would do before jumping into this. So if you're like me, not a huge makeup wearer, and you don't want to spend 3 hours attempting makeup when you're not even that good at it, or I don't have a huge palette either. I've got like one lipstick in it, so it's all going to be the same. This is a quick way of just mixing it up a wee bit without having to run down to the shops and buy loads of makeup, because it's just a photo. It's not like it actually. I mean, if you're going out somewhere, I would totally, I'd be like, but I'm not. Especially right now, I don't leave the house. Like, nobody leaves the house. So that is that. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and feel free to like and subscribe, or jump into my channel and watch the clean up and the Facetune video if you're curious as to how it got to this point. And that's us. Thank you and goodbye.